Hello friends, this is Cara-Renee with B.Reborn Art and Healing, coming to you with another Page Ideas tutorial. This is episode 2 in our Page Ideas series. Today we're going to be making some cool envelope flips. I watched a video over by Natasha over at Treasure Books, and so this idea comes from her, so I will link her video below so that you can go over and show her some love. I love her creativity, very outside of the box kind of thinking about different ways to create really cool junk journal ephemera. So basically what it is this is our journal page. So this is our journal page. This is the inside, and then this is the outside. This is one side, and then this is the other half. And so basically what you have is you have two envelopes that flip out. They're glued by the flaps, but only right here, just along this edge, so that we can create a belly band here. In this example, we have a belly band created by the envelopes, but we also have a small belly band right here that can go in behind this if I so choose. I'm not sure if I'll do anything with that. I did not decorate this one yet, but this is the idea. The profile is pretty low profile in terms of a full journal page, because you know when you start decorating a page that's already in a signature, you can get quite a bit of bulk when you start putting pockets and journaling cards and tags and the like. So forgive me for my raspy voice. I am sick again. So, and I didn't decorate that one just because I haven't had really any time in the studio because I've not been feeling well. It was an incredibly difficult work week. So yeah, I did some self-care, kind of forced self-care. It was a very emotional week. So this is the one I made, a prototype I made for the boho journal. I did put a closure on this, but I just want to show you that you don't need a closure. It completely stays closed. So I just thought I wanted to try it just to see if that is something that I would like to do. I might do it and I might not do it. So this one is similar layout in terms of the construction, just different papers. So that's what we have there. And then what is this? Oh, that's the journal page. I'm like, what is that flapping out? So this is the inside of the signature page. And so this one I did all of my work on the right side of the page when it was opened up. So that's pretty cool. So let's get going. I will be doing this one off camera because I do need one for my reference journal. So I thought when I'm just in here putzing around, I could go ahead and make this one. And I do apologize, guys. I just saw that glitch. I cannot continue to start the video over. I don't know what's happening, but the software, something's with the camera is glitching. So, but I can't. There's just nothing I can do. There's just nothing I can do about it right now. I did realize I just forgot to go grab the signature page for this project over on the printer. So I will be right back. Okay, so this is the journal page that we're going to be using. These background papers are from Emma Parrish Artist, and they're just a really beautiful soft blue and kind of an ivory color paper. So we're going to go ahead and fold this in half just so that we have it ready to go. We won't be working directly on it quite yet, but I just wanted to show you what that would look like. Mine measure, let's see how, I think I had to trim my prototypes down. For some reason, these are printing pretty wide. So see how that's 5 3/8. I only want it to be 5 1/4. So I'm going to just turn to the printer. It's going to be hard to do this on the printer. I'm going to trim that down to 5 1/4, and it should be 8 1/4 high. Yeah, it is 8 1/4 high. So give me a moment. I just don't want to forget that because I don't want to start gluing anything on if the journal page is not the size that I want it to be. So that would be my recommendation. And I also have to borrow these envelopes because I didn't pull a new stash of envelopes over. Oh my gosh. My envelopes measure 5 and it looks like 5 5/16, which is a weird measurement, by 7 1/4. So I've got 2 of these envelopes. And so what I did, just to make this a little bit easier for our process on camera, is I printed all of my papers that are going to cover, they're going to cover the inside flap here, the inside of this part of the envelope, and then this part as well as the back. So what I did, just to save time, and I would suggest it for you as well, is you will need 8 pieces of paper that are the same, basically the same size. So let me just get this one that's not heavily decorated. So we have, just looking at this, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces needed, or 6 pieces plus your flap is 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces. So if you cut your 8 pieces to measure the size of your, just slightly smaller than your envelope, you'll be ready to go, and it will be a much easier process. Then you're not constantly having to cut paper. I just cut them all down to the same size. I'm hoping that I did it right because I am a little foggy. So let's just start with this one first. The other thing you want to keep in mind when you start putting papers on is just remember that this is what you're going for. Okay, you're going for this look. So you want to make sure that obviously these are mirror images of each other when they're laid out. So you want to make sure when you put your papers on, you don't put them upside down or something like that. So I'm just going to set this one over here just like that and bring this one over. I do have my ink, my Fabri-Tac. I do recommend Fabri-Tac because you have lots of time to move things around, which is pretty important. I have a bunch of pieces of for ephemera to put in them, so I'll just set those aside as well. We don't need them yet. And so these are my 8 papers. So I've got this beautiful blue hydrangea paper. So I believe I have 4 of these. So those will cover probably these areas and the flap, and then or vice versa. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have enough of those. So I only have 2 of those. So we'll have to see what we want to do. Not really a big fan of these, but it's what we have now. So we will just kind of talk about that as we go along. So you can see that these all fit that envelope perfectly. Now, when we start cutting the paper that's going to go in the inside of this envelope, we may have to just take a sliver off of the edges this way so that we can slide that in, because we're going to use a pencil to trace around this and then cut that out. So let me think about this again, because I'm not a huge fan of the papers I picked for my second set. So if we do this and this, maybe we should do, I have an idea. What we're going to do is we're going to use these for this part of the flap. So I'm going to reserve one of those for that. So sorry for the waffling here. They're going to be opposite of each other, but these could actually go upside down, so they're not directional. So one could go this way and one could go this way. That's what we're going to do. So sorry for that confusion. So I'm thinking this one, I need to go this way though, because because we're going to be cutting out part of that. Oh, that's coming down really low. That's not what I intended. Doesn't matter. I don't mind if there's a lot of envelope showing there. I'm hoping you guys can see that. It doesn't matter. It's going to be beautiful no matter what. So, so let's go ahead and slide this. What we're going to do is we're going to slide this in here. And this is what I was talking about, and maybe need to get a little bit off the edge because you have to be able to slide it in there easily. It's actually working pretty well. So let's just get that in there tucked in, and we're going to go like that. And as you can see, I've got quite a bit of a gap here, but I'm not too concerned about that. You do want to make sure it's even though, because once you start making that pencil line, you're kind of committed. So I'm just going to adjust that accordingly, like that-ish, like that-ish. Yeah, and I'm just going to use my pencil if I can locate it. What did you do with your pencil? There it is. I wish this was taller, but you know what they say about wishes. got a foggy brain, so things are not really jiving very well for me this morning. Okay, so then we're just going to take this and we're going to cut along. Actually, I'm going to use my fussy cut scissors because they are a little bit not quite as heavy to hold on to and get into all these little bits. So then you're just going to cut along that line. Okay, and I'm hoping that I'm following the right line there, because I made a mistake there. But again, perfection is not at play in the studio, in sickness or in health. It's not important. All right, so that's what you're doing. Now, if I had left this piece of paper bigger, I could have potentially used this piece for the inside, but it's not going to be big enough, I don't think. Well, maybe it is. That's interesting concept. That is a very interesting concept. I'm not going to do that today, but you could totally do that. But I'm not going to. So we're going to go ahead and put this here. Okay. And that's going to glue on there. It's a little bit short. I'm not super thrilled about that. We've got some weird things going on over here, but you know, it is what it is at this point in time. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And that was just because I cut this paper too short. I should have left a little bit more of a margin for error, but I did not do that. So you will probably want to account for that. But that's basically what you're looking for. So let's go ahead and glue that on. I'm just going to put my Fabri-Tac directly on my... Why is that doing that? Yikes. Hang on. Big glue booger there. Okay, so there we go. Again, make sure that you're keeping this going the right direction. So I'm just going to put an arrow there so that we know that this is the right hand side. And so I am going to turn it just because it helps me to get everything on straight. I'm just going to put that paper there and I'm just going to move it up. So you get a little bit of working room here. So this worked out fine. The only thing I don't care for is that it didn't quite... I didn't line it up correctly to that corner, so I've got a weird corner there, but again, not to worry. So that is that. So now, which I kind of am already regretting choosing that paper, this one's going to go in the inside. So what I did with this one is, even though I cut it the same height, that was just basically to make this process easier. So now I'm just going to cut this paper down lengthwise, just below this point, so that I can just stick this in there. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to grab another one so that I can do them at the same time. Actually, yeah, do them at the same time. So I'm going to turn to my cutter and just cut these in half. I don't think I can get 2 out of 1, so let's see, 2 and 3/8-ish, 2 and... Yeah, so that's not wide enough to get 2 out of it, but I use all those scraps. I'll be right back. And since this was take 2, I don't remember if I mentioned the kits. These are, the background papers are from Emma Parrish Artist, and the other ones are from Enchanted Journal Kit, the Paris images. So we're going to go ahead and ink just the edge that's going to go along here. So I'm going to have those kind of hydrangeas up there because I think they're beautiful. And this is the point where if this doesn't look like it's going to go in very easily, you could cut it down more. So I'm just going to slide this in and see where we land. Yeah, that's going to slide in just fine. And I want to keep with that line. So even though it's going to create quite a gap, I would rather have it line up with this line here of the digital. I think it will look better than bumping this one up. That's my thought process anyway. It might not be. Yeah, because I think it makes that error stand out more. So I'm going to put Fabri-Tac on the back of this. Okay, and then the inked edge you want to go at the top, so I'm just going to hold that there. And this is, I printed all these top papers, the ones I'm covering the envelope on, my 32-pound paper, so it is a little bit flimsier, a little harder for me to work with. But I'm just going to slide that in there like so, and just, you got to get it in there, Cara-Renee, you got to get it in there. Don't be messing around. Don't mess around. That's perfect. I love it. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so now we're going to cover the flap, and I am debating on what I want to use to cover the flap. We could just use this. This is all the same. This is the same paper. It's just the opposite side of it. Actually, this might be kind of pretty because we got that scrolly bit, and this is the other half of this paper, I think. Maybe over here somewhere. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's the same. It's the other half. So I think I'm going to go ahead and capitalize on that if I can. So I'm going to cut it down because I do want to capture as much of, well, I'm not going to be able to capture that scroll at all because it's going to get cut off. Doggone it. So I'm just going to line this up with the tip here, just so I make sure I cut off enough of this, and I'm just going to make a line here. And again, I'm going to do that 2 times so that we have one for the other one, I think. Well, I'll just do one at a time. So that's that. So now we can just put this on here, and then we can cut around the rest of it. Again, I'm not a super big fan of that gap, but we have to embrace the imperfection. Oh, we could go this way though. That would work, because then we do get the scrolly. Oh, foggy brain. You know, I spend most of my year sick. It's just a fact of life. So I'm living on Dayquil and NyQuil just to get through the days. So I'm just going to apply my Fabri-Tac on the flap. Okay. And then we're just going to place that on there. And I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap because we don't want to have any problems with this. And see, that's not even measuring out right. I don't know what I did. Blame it on the cold. Just give that a chance to set a second, and then we can turn it over and trim around. There we go. So that's basically all the areas that you need to cover. You need to cover this part of the envelope, the inside, and the flap. So I'm going to do the same, and I'm just going to speed up that process and go ahead and cover the other envelope, and I'll be right back. So I would advise you to not cut your papers too small, just so you don't bump into the issue that I had here. So I'm following that same error. I don't want one side to be more, to have this paper farther in than the other side. So that's kind of what I'm aiming for here. Yeah, there we go. So here again, I'm just lining up my paper to this edge here where that other digital is, covering the envelope, and then just making a mark just below that so that I can tuck that into that envelope. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and slide this in here. Again, you have to move pretty quickly. Don't worry if you get glue on that flap like I just did. It's going to be okay. We can rub it off, but you do have to move quick to get that in there before it starts to set. So Fabri-Tac, again, is your friend with this kind of project, or some kind of silicone glue. So that looks exactly the same as the other one. I love it. Okay, so now we're going to cover the flap, and then we'll be able to move on to some funner things. So let's go ahead and do the same over here. So I'm just going to, now that I'm working on this side, I don't have to trim this down. I can just go ahead and put the glue on my flap. Here we go. The hard parts are almost done. So those are both of our envelopes covered. Look at that. I love it. I love how one is up top and one is down below. I think that's perfect. Let's ink this up, and then we're going to put our paper on the back of the envelopes as well, and then we'll be ready to play around with some ephemera. I'm just going to ink this. I should have inked that edge and I didn't. Not a problem. And there we go. So we're going this way. So now and if you were obviously working with directional paper, you definitely want to keep this straight in your head so that you don't have one upside down from the other. So I'm going to just turn this because we're only covering this. We don't have to cover the back of the flap. And so we've got, oh, where's my other piece of paper? I should have another piece. What happened? Ugh, that's a problem. Oh no! Let me grab, see if I've got another one over here. I think I do. I must have not used both halves of one of the papers, so I don't have enough to cover this on both of them. So I'm feeling like I want to let me trim the white off of this, and I'll be back in a moment and talk to you about what I'm going to do to make it cover more of this side of the envelope. Okay, so now we can kind of look at this and say, hey, can we get 2 out of this? I think we can. So I'm going to go ahead and make this cover more of that envelope than I did when I cut those pieces wrong. So I'm going to cut there, and I should have 2 equal halves, I'm hoping. Do we? Almost. So that's our overhang. So I do need to take a sliver off of that because one piece is a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to turn again. So I've talked to you guys about my situation with my not having my L desk, and so I have my ironing board sitting in between the desk and the calyx unit over there, so I have some place to put my cutter. My husband's working on something for me to bridge that space, but okay, so that's the width. So now we need to adjust the height. I should have just done that all at the same time, but it is okay. We're just gonna keep on trucking. Just trim those off. Okay. So I'm going to ink both of these up really nicely, and then we're going to glue them on. So I will tell you, just while I'm inking, that I have landed on a theme, a kit style that I'm going to make a Christmas journal with, but I am not even really thinking much about that yet because I have so many projects going on right now, but it's really pretty. It's a vintage Christmas, so it's got a lot of kind of grungy-ish elements to it and kind of pushed back colors. I don't like the vibrant red and green of Christmas. Don't like it at all. So yeah, so again, you guys want to be keeping in mind if you're using a directional paper that you've got this going the right way and that your piece that you're putting on top of here is going the right way as well. Okay, actually, that feels like it's a little bit too tall. What did you do? Yes, it is. I'm just going to take a sliver off just with my scissors. I don't know what I did. Okay, so one could also sew around these, which would be really lovely. I have made projects where I've actually sewed around the paper before I glued it on, and that really gives a really cool look, but I don't have the energy for that currently. I do not. That's awesome. So I'm going to do the other one, and I'll be right back. I didn't trim this one. I think it's going to be okay, though. Oh, I do not like being sick. Who does, right? Who does? I did not trim that off on the end, but I think it's going to be okay. We're good. You just don't want to have a bunch hanging out here. So I'm going to try to get rid of that little edge that I've got sticking up. You have to be careful because you don't want to cut this flap off. So go slow. Okay, there we go. All right, so now let's bring our journal page back over. I'm going to ink around just the front of it, basically what we're using. I can always ink the rest of it later. But again, I love the brown against the blue inking. So beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it on the front side here. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to keep it like that just so you can see what you're working with. So you can choose to put it over on the left or the right. So I'm going to put mine on the right. So I'm going to start with my right envelope, and you want the edge of this envelope to come to the edge of your page without going over. So, and then you want to kind of I spy the distance from here to here and from here to here. So I'm going to just, I'll adjust that as I go. This is where we're going to be using our white glue, our Bearly Arts, and I'm just going to put a bead of glue along here. A fairly generous bead because it is a pretty heavy envelope. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to just line this up again, and hopefully I'll have time to move it. You do kind of want to I spy it first just to get it as close to right as it can be. So there we go. And as you can see, I'm not putting any seam binding to make a closure. Now I did forget, and I forgot to mention it as well, that we do need to trim this edge off because it will bind. So we will do that in a moment, and I believe we have to do that with both of them, and I'm so sorry I forgot. We should probably do that now before we put the other one on. So when we get to it though, this is going to go here. And so if I do that, then this is not going to be able to fold. It's going to stick out. So let's go ahead and take off about 1/8 of an inch. About 1/8 of an inch off of the one that I have not glued on, as well as the one I just glued on. So I'll be right back. It would be optimal if you did that first so that you had a consistent boundary around your envelope. So see, now this is all the way to the edge, this is all the way to the edge, but I've got some sticking up over here. Not what I wanted. I am going to trim that white off. So you should cut that off first. So you might have to watch this video again after you watch my blunders. So now that because we've done that though, we're going to have to re-glue. That doesn't almost seem like enough. Hold on. You know, that's not enough. It's going to be, let's see, let's test this out. We might need a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch. So that's going to go like that. Nope, it's going to be fine. That is fine. So we're going to need to glue this shut again. So it might be sort of shut just from the work we did. It looks like it's fairly open. So I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to use my white glue and get some glue in there and close that back up. Okay. And we'll get right back in there and use our ruler to make sure we didn't lose a bunch of our real estate. But I hope that you're at least getting the gist of it, even though this has been far from a perfect presentation of the project, you know. but I am just a human being doing my best. Doing my best. Okay, so let's get our ruler in there just to make sure again that we didn't create too much of a glue line. So I'm just using my hand, poking my ruler. I can feel it with my thumb and just opening up what I can and leaving the rest alone. Our journal cards are not huge, so it should not be a problem. I need to flip this so that I can do the same. Here, same process. Okay. There we go. Alrighty, so now we can glue our other one on. So for the sake of this, I am going to, oh, we need to do that on this as well, because see how my glue line is pushed clear out here. So I'm just gonna kind of force that ruler in there and just kind of pull that towards myself so that I can open up that little bit that's available. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and do the same here. I'm gonna put a bead of glue on the flap part just along that edge. And we're going to, it's kind of tricky because I don't really want to line up the points. I want to be eye-spying that top or the bottom, one or the other. I'm going to look at the bottom because it's easier from my vantage point without getting my head in the camera. There we go. Okay, and then just give that a good press, give it a time to set. And then put a little bit of glue here. Oh, it just moved. Doggone it. Yep, that happened before. That happened on my prototype. Probably not quite enough glue, so let's do that again. Or it might just be too close to the fold. So I'm just going to move that out, put a little bit on that tip. So it's okay. It's all okay. Let's try again. Also, I'm usually kind of impatient with this, so I do need to let it. I just want to check that edge and make sure it's not too far over, and then just let that really set. Give that a press in the middle. That worked out beautifully. I didn't grab anything to put here, so we might have to reach and grab something. I want to fully decorate this with you guys as well, so hopefully I'll be able to cut out some of this stuff. So let me grab my bin with my ephemera for this journal. Okay, let's see what we have. I think this one would be really actually quite pretty. I haven't trimmed around it all the way yet, or we could bring in some oh, this would be perfect because then I don't have to really cut it down. I think this one is from Liana's Scraps, so I think this is the only piece of ephemera in this video that I'm using that's from Liana's Scrap. It is her Paris Blue kit as well. I don't know that that's what it's called, but it's the same theme. So I'm just going to round these corners. Got something in my thing. I don't know if it's a paper, a piece of a staple or something. I don't know, but it's like, whoops, wrong one. It's just kind of making a little bit of a jingling sound, and it won't shake out, so I'm not sure. Not sure what that's about. So that's going to go there. Now comes the fun part of decorating. I may have to do like sentiments and stuff off camera, but I just want to give you the general idea because I thought it would be fun to do the double belly band. So again, this, which I'll show you in a minute, is a belly band here, and then this will be also a smaller belly band. So I just want to put glue here and here, and not on the bottom or the top. So let's do that. So again, I hope that you guys will check out Natasha. I know many of you are familiar with her work, but I do like to make sure that I give credit where credit is due. I had a fellow crafter reach out to me and, feeling distressed about, people, her taking the time to create, something in her studio and doing a video and then having others come and, kind of borrow that idea. Now they did give her credit, but it's hard. It's a tricky situation. I told her it doesn't bother me because I do this to inspire other people, but I know for others, they're trying to make a living doing this. And so their, YouTube views and things are really important. So I do like, I say all that to say I do like to give credit where credit is due. So there's that. So we've got some stuff, and I've got some whale tail punches here. So this is our really tall tag that's going to go in the middle, and I did already pre-cut these just for the sake of the video, so they are fit exactly so that this comes to the top of that belly band space. And I think I want to round these corners as well. So I'm going to take all of this ephemera and I'm going to round the corners and ink it, and then I'll talk with you about where everything is going to go. Okay, just about done with the inking. And then we'll put some whale tail tabs on it. We're only going to put an eyelet and seam binding on the tall tag that I have in my hand right now, because everything else, if we try to put anything on them, they'll bulk up the piece, and we don't want that. So I'm going to reach for my eyelet setter. Oh, it's right here. I did not grab any seam binding, so hopefully I just have the cream on here. I do. My new seam binding is coming today in the mail. So I order all of it from My Scrap Cabin on Etsy. So I keep her in business, I'm telling you. Like I order so much of that stuff because I use it all the time. So let's just make a whale tail punch for this. This glue is just having the time of its life here. I don't usually have it happen like that. It gets all goobery. So I'm just trying to center that there. Okay. Oop. Ton of glue that just oozed out. So okay, get that straightened back up. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take the risk and punch my hole. You could, of course, wait. That's not in the middle. That's not in the middle. Let's try that. Grab an eyelet here. It's wise to wait till this, till this dries, guys. I mean, seriously, it's wise. It's wise, but I'm going to keep on going. There we go. Okay, let's let that dry a bit, and then we'll put our, well, I guess we can just do it since we're already taking all the risks. Grab a piece of my seam binding and just run it through here. I just will make sure that everything's nice and straight before I stop fiddling with this journal card, tag, or whatever you want to call it. You could, of course, make it a tag shape, but you can personalize this any way you choose. There we go. Nice. Love it. All right, make sure that you're nice, and it's not even in the middle. But see how with Fabri-Tac you can keep moving that. Sometimes it's better to look at it from the back so you don't have the distraction of the images, to see if you're actually straight. So I'm just going to try to stick this in this belly band space. Just slides in there. I don't think I have one prepped. Let's see if I've got one right here in my container that we can put in that small belly band, just so I can show you what that looks like. And we do. I want something kind of shortish. This one would really actually be very pretty. Let's use that one. I think this was another one from Liana Scrap. I will link her kit below as well. Okay, and then this one can slide. I think it can slide in here. Yes, 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 yes. Just a little bit of, look at that. That was perfect. I love it. I don't have the my Paris stuff words and sentiments out, so I will probably embellish a little bit off camera here. So we've got two images. So we got this one, and then we've got, let's do that, and these two together, and then this is another one for here. So let's go ahead and slide that one in as well. And it's just going to stuff down there a little bit farther, that handsome man. It's tight. It's tight. What's going on here? There we go. Sometimes it's just that first try getting everything in there to get it to go where you want it to go. So we're just going to raise that up like that. And then this one will go in here. And I will probably put some whale tail punches on these, but I won't put any seam binding. I have not decided what I want to do. I might just put it on the top one because I love that layered look. I think it's really cool. But I think that we are done with the video today. Again, my apologies for the errors today. So just make sure that you don't, if you're going to pre-cut your papers, go more generous with the size than I did, because I ended up shorting myself on this piece here on both sides. So that just tucks in there nicely and it gets layered up. Let's just pull that one out a little bit so we get that layered look. And then when it closes, this can also be written on, and then I'll do something on the front of this as a decoration. And that is our journal page idea for today. So thank you for stopping by, and please feel free to leave a comment, like and subscribe. I don't push that. I'm not about that. I'm not about, begging for subscribers. Like, if you like my content, I just give a reminder from time to time. Just hit that subscribe button, hit the like button. It helps the algorithms because it can be very, I don't like the YouTube algorithms. I don't think that they're very fair. But if you like it, then that means that there might be other people that like it that are not seeing my videos that perhaps would like to. And so every time somebody comments or likes or subscribes, it helps those algorithms in my favor. So I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.